Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this finds you well. This is the card we're making today. It's this lovely rainbow borders card, and this features the Countryside Corners bundle. So that's a stamp and die bundle, and it's just one stamp that cuts out that produces all these different borders, and then you cut all them out with the matching dies. So I've made a rainbow card here, and we're going to make another one just along the same way. This one has a cherry cobbler base. So we're going to move on now, and I'm going to show you the stamp set, and this is it. Just set up my stamp apparatus because it's easier to do this in the stamp apparatus. And this is the Countryside Corners stamp set, and as you can see, it's one single stamp that's then cut out with the matching dies. And I stamped this in a rainbow pattern. You can see here I'm just showing the colours I used for my rainbow, and those were Gorgeous Grape, Azure Afternoon, Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie and Real Red. And I stamped it in all of those colours, and then I cut it all out using the matching dies, and I just keep them in a baggie here in my stamp case for future use. And these are the dies here, and you can cut all of this out with one pass of the die cutting machine. And I've got all of my frames in this little baggie inside my stamp set. So now I'm just going to go through and find the ones I want. And you can see on my first card I went from red on the outside to Gorgeous Grape on the inside. I'm going to go in the opposite direction this time, Gorgeous Grape on the outside to Real Red on the inside. So I'm just going through here quickly and finding all of my different frames. You can see I have a ton here. I actually have enough here to make 6 different cards, but we're just going to make another one here, and then I'll save these for a future project. Very useful for scrapbooking, for making shaker pockets, all sorts of things you can do with this. So I'm just trying to find where I am here to make sure I've got all my bits and pieces. So what I should say is, if you want more information about this project, the measurements, the supply list, etc., you will find that on my blog post, and the link to that you will find in the description box below. So now, rainbow cards are one of my favourite types of cards to make. I just love the effect, and I make them quite often. Do you like making rainbow cards? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I found all my frames here that I wanted, and you can see I have a bazillion left over for future projects. And I'm just going to put them back in the baggie before they all migrate all over the place. And we're just going to get on now and start to do some stamping. And we're going to stamp the happy birthday in the centre here of this little piece, and I'm just using a bit of stain on the back or seal, just so I can stick it down so it won't move at all, because it's too small to use the magnet. And I'm using the happy birthday sentiment from the seasonal branches. Now I only want the top of the happy birthday sentiment here, so I am going to mask off the piece that I don't want, and I'm just going to use a little piece here of post-it note just to mask off the bottom of the stamp. Now I'm going to ink that up in Real Red cards, Real Red ink, so it only catches the top. Make sure nothing is left on the bottom, and stamp. And isn't that perfect? Easy way to stretch your stamps and make better use of them. And then we just take that off the base of the stamp apparatus. Give everything a good clean up, because I find the Real Red ink can become very messy if you leave it be. So let's clear the decks, put everything away, put your stamp back in its home so it doesn't get lost. And now we are ready to start to assemble our card. Our card base here is Gorgeous Grape, and I've got a piece here of basic white cardstock, and I put this through the distressed tile embossing folder just so there'd be some added interest in the background, some added texture and dimension. So I'm just going to use some Tombow to stick that to the front of my card, just like that. And then I have another piece of basic white, same measurements, that I'm going to put on the inside of my card, and this is just for my insert. Okay, So now we're ready to assemble our frames. Now one of the frames will be flat and I'm going to use just some Tombow, and then the next frame is going to be raised up using some foam strips. So there's going to be a lot of dimension on this card, you're going to find, because every second frame is going to be popped up with dimensional adhesive. Now a trick with dimensional adhesive is if you remove the backing off it, it's much more malleable and it's much easier for it to move around corners and different shapes. So take your backing off and you'll find it's much more easy to manipulate it however you might want to do that. So I'm just quickly doing that here, getting it all into place. Going to cut off any excess, and then I'm just going to put that down like this, and then of course the next one will just be flat, and you can't really see the colours maybe so easily here on the camera, but you can still see them on the still shots, and of course you find those on the blog post. So do go and hop onto my website and have a look-see round. Okay, so I'm just fitting these back in almost like a jigsaw puzzle, really easy to do. And the next one we're going to go back with our dimensional adhesive, and I really love these foam strips, they're so easy to use, so saves time rather than trying to cut out all the edges of your dimensionals to make these strips. So much more simple. I'm going to cut off that little piece there, and again just fit it back into a little jigsaw place like that. And I'm just going to continue to do this until I reach my center, which I think I'm going to do now. There's the flat, and then the next one will be our sentiment, which we are going to pop up. And I always would recommend to use Tombow for your flat pieces, because it is a wet glue and will give you a little bit of wriggle room to really get your frames lined up just as you want them to be lined up. So now I'm just going to use some good old-fashioned dimensionals and such like on the back of my piece here. I'm using up scraps, as you can see, and we're just going to lay that in there, and that is your card basically done. All we're going to do now is add a few little finishing touches, and to do that I'm going to use the tinsel gems, and I've got the 2-pack and the 3-pack, as well as the purple shimmer gems, and this is just because I'm colour matching the colours that I've used to stamp, and you can use whichever you want. So I store mine in these little pockets so that I don't lose any of those precious gems. Now I'm going with the 2-pack, 3-pack rather. Was that the 4-pack? I don't know. As you can see, I decided just to stick with the purple gems this time. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed the project. If you did, I'd be grateful if you would give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. And until next time, enjoy being creative. Thank you. Bye.